So can we transition over to the West Coast to
The West
San
Coast.
Francisco? San Francisco 49ers with Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo. Who do you believe will start in San Francisco? Julian, I'll go to you.
All right, so these are one of these things that I was kind of saying where I think it really depends on what's happening in camp in the preseason. What I saw this past weekend, or last weekend with Trey Lance was really good, honestly. I thought he played very well. I was very surprised with his poise in the pocket. Jimmy G, did he play? If he did play, I think he played like a little bit, but I did see, I really wanted to check out Trey Lance. So I watched, he played a good amount too. He played into like the third quarter, especially for a first preseason game, which is good. He should get his reps and stuff like that. I mean, obviously you want to be a little cautious because you don't want him to get hurt, but I think as somebody, especially like Trey Lance, who didn't play like barely any games his entire college career, like I don't know exact number, but I think he only played like 17 or 18 games or something like that in college, which is such a little amount, especially for a guy coming out of a small school. So you need to get this guy as many reps as possible, especially somebody like him who only played one game this past season because I had that little show off like talent, show off your talent like draft game that they had. So, but yeah, I was really surprised. I mean, he obviously adds the athleticism to the position that Jimmy G just doesn't bring you. And I've been on this podcast before. I am not a fan of Jimmy G. I think he is a poor man's Alex Smith. I think he is not that great. He doesn't turn over the ball, which is a good thing. I mean, he keeps it going. Obviously, San Francisco is a run-heavy game, especially they just drafted Trey Sermon to go along with Moser and everything. So they're definitely gonna be running the ball a lot more, but it is one of those things where I think we got to play it out a little bit. I think if Trey Lance continues to outperform Jimmy G, you gotta play him. At the end of the day, you got to put your team in the best position to win. And if Trey Lance gives you that extra element and he's playing if on the same level, if not better than Jimmy G, you need to start him. I don't care if he's a rookie or not. If he's the better player, you need to play him.
I think, going into this year, a lot of people are predicting the 49ers should have a better year than last year. Obviously, there's a ton of injuries. They had a ton of injuries early.
Yeah.
And going into the season, I'm actually going to contradict, what we talked about the Jaguars, where I think they're going to probably stick with Jimmy G because Jimmy G is a known thing. It's a safe thing. Like you said, it's a safe throw. It's not flashy, right? What you're hoping for is that you have these guys develop. I'm looking at the wide receivers. Deebo Samuel is really good. Should have a good season if he's not injured. Brandon Ayuk. All these guys should get better and should have a better season. But I don't see, unless Trey Lance is out of this world, better than Jimmy G, I really honestly think they're going to keep Trey Lance on the leash and keep him, with the headsets and looking over the playbook, because that is a disaster. Like, that's a disaster waiting to happen, to put a young rookie quarterback. And now understanding the pressure of, like, y'all moved up to draft this kid and y'all picked Trey Lance when nobody else was talking about Trey Lance. That is a factor in this, but I still think they're gonna probably stick with Jimmy G. Like I would, if I was a 49ers, I would stick with Jimmy G. Stick with what you know.
I could definitely agree with you, Gabe. Yeah. Definitely agree because look, last season, man, how many injuries you had, and yeah, you got a nice young, athletic talent, but you're gonna go over experience at this point, right? Like if you have a fully recovered team, right? Jimmy G did bring them to a Super Bowl, so you want that experience in play, right? He did get exposed. I remember in that game though, and Julian was calling it. He got exposed that game.
But he costed them the Super Bowl. He costed them the Super Bowl.
I remember watching that, but hopefully he learns from that. And if they have a team that's 100%, right? Set each other up to succeed. They can make a little run. So I don't think they're going to transition to a new quarterback yet. I think they're going to see what he has to offer with a healthy team once again before they decide to make that.
Just real quick for like the audience, just like when I'm saying he cost him the Super Bowl and what the play Joe just talking about was like, I'm sure everybody knows it. It's like when that deep ball that he had, I forgot who he had, but he was wide open. And I was like, Patrick Mahomes would have hit that. And that was, I forgot, it was towards the end of the game. It's been a while since I've seen that game.
Yeah.
But it was towards the end, and that would have won him it right there. And he overthrew him by a long shot. He missed him by like 10 or 15 yards. And yeah, but as you're saying.
Yeah, I'm surprised. The fact that Jimmy G hasn't been traded yet tells me they're probably going to stick with Jimmy G, because as soon as I heard they moved up, I'm like, oh, they're going to trade Jimmy G.
That's the guy they wanted. I feel like that's the guy, they sought out to get him, and they got him. And look, I mean, they went to a Super Bowl. don't think they're gonna hit the panic button yet. I again, they had a lot of injuries. You know what I mean? So
I like I said, to me, it's one of those where if Jimmy G's performing well and he looks like he's gonna, the 49ers are doing well and they can make a playoff run, then yeah, you keep Jimmy G in there. But if Jimmy G is just not playing well, or he just looks whatever, and then they start losing on top of that, they're definitely going to start throwing Trey Lance in there for sure. And people are going to be chanting for him. And like my biggest thing is like, honestly, I don't care if you're a rookie or not. If you're the better guy, you need to start. You need to play the better guy. I don't care. Like I said, even if it was Trevor Lawrence, I don't care. If Gardner Minshew was playing better than Trevor Lawrence, play Gardner Minshew. I'd rather win than see a guy in there not play that well because we're playing.
Right,
because
so I'm gonna hold you to that because I could guarantee for the audience if his boy, if his quarterback isn't starting, he's gonna shed a tear or two. I can guarantee you.